Is that right?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he's been with me for. I mean, he's a rescue dog. I got him when he was 3 months old from some guy who was trying to drown him.
Yep.
And he's been with me ever since. I sort of changed my lifestyle to include him. He's with me 24 hours. I mean, he's staring at me right now, chewing a bone on the floor of the van here. But he didn't like that trip very much. That anything under -20, he was not having any of it.
Right.
So he was miserable. Yeah, he was miserable the whole time.
Poor guy. What's his name? Diesel. Nice. So I guess, and I think a lot of people that travel solo, they do travel with a pet or something because it is, it's company and someone to talk to that's not yourself, I suppose.
Yeah, exactly. He's I've got close friends, I've got close family, I've got people I love, but I mean, I'd be pretty lost without him.
Yeah. Well, it's lovely that you've got him to take on these adventures with you. So what are the best things that come with this type of travel, do you think? I'm sure from talking to you, I'm sure there are plenty.
Oh, what I used to do is, I do a lot of charity work, a lot of fundraising and I used to build, I still do, but I used to build special chairs for people with disabilities, and I would push them through. Do you know what the Tough Mudder is?
Yes, I actually did that back in Australia.
Oh, very well. We had it here, and I took a friend of mine who's got severe cerebral palsy. I built a special chair to take him through. We've broken the world record for speed every time we've run in half marathons and that.
Wow.
I can't do that anymore. I blew up my knee last year, so I can't do it anymore. So what I'm doing with a lot of these trips is, there's a lot of people that are interested in it, but just they couldn't do it for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Family commitments, age, finance, whatever it is. So what I do is I go and take pictures, and then I hold fundraisers after. Mm-hmm. So instead of funding them by the runs, so I use these trips for that.
Okay, cool. Yeah, well, I mean, that's a huge, I guess, something that makes you really feel good while you're on the road. Have you traveled to a lot of places? How far do you go away from Vancouver when you're traveling, other than the Arctic, obviously?
I'll go, usually, I've traveled all through British Columbia now. I've gone to the island, Vancouver Island.
Yep.
I've traveled pretty much, I've gone almost everywhere across Canada now. My next trip is, I'm planning on doing one right to the far east coast.
Yep. Okay, cool.
And what I plan on doing is, because what I do now for work is I'm a drone photographer. Mm-hmm. So what I want to do is zigzag, from the north coast down to the south, all the way up as I go across to the east coast. So I want to get every square inch of that. Yeah,
that's so cool. And I know that a lot of your photography is, well, correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like you do a lot for kind of building companies and construction companies and things. Are you also working in travel photography?
Oh yeah, I do everything. The construction stuff I do is just because of my engineering background. So I've come up with ways to sort of marry the two of them, the artsy part of photography, but also the technical engineering parts.
Yep.
But I do work for little towns and that, for tourism shots, and I do fashion shots. I do pretty much everything.
Oh, that's so cool. And is that something that you established before you hit the road, or was it something that you did so that you could freelance and live a bit more of an itinerant lifestyle?
It kind of went in tandem.
Yeah.
I'm only now, I do it professionally, but I haven't actually ever taken a course. I started on tomorrow. I registered for a photography course so I can actually learn how to use the camera as opposed to just hacking my way through it.
Well, it sounds like you've got a head start at least.
But the thing, as for the travel though, you're asked to travel, the one thing that, I'm patriotic by birth, not because I'm a staunch patriot, but the one thing that you guys have down in the States that we don't have here is for traveling,
yep.
You guys have got it made. You've got that you can go all around, you have different areas. For us, Vancouver's, I don't know if you know about our climate here, but in Vancouver we have this little microcosm of weather where you can actually live in an RV or a van year round.
Yep. Yeah.
It doesn't snow that much. It doesn't get below freezing. It's not too bad. But the rest of Canada is an ice bomb.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I spent not very much time, but a little bit of time up in Canada when it was probably too cold for me, I would say.
Yeah.
So Just a couple of more questions. What would you say is the thing that you're most proud of in terms of your travels? Would it be the Arctic trip or something different?
Oh yeah, that right now that's the jewel in my crown for sure.
Yeah. Do you have any plans to do anything to trump that?
I don't know that I can. That the reason this one appealed to me was because I think every traveler wants to have that virgin territory. They want to have that first under their belt. And I looked around for quite a long time. The road that I traveled from Nunavut up to the Arctic coast.
Yep.
It's a brand new road. It's the first time that Canada has had a permanent road that went that far.
Right.
It's the furthest north. It opened up on November 15th. Only locals and dignitaries have traveled it so far. I'm the first one that I know.
Yeah.
I'm the first one that has actually traveled it and camped along it and photographed it like that. So to me, that was, to find something that hasn't been done by everybody else.
Yeah.
It's tough. I don't know. I could go to the Grand Canyon. I could go to the Salt Flats. I could go to Burning Man. But these things have all been done, and although they're great, to be the first, that's something that I don't know that I could find that again. Unless somebody else opens a new road, I don't know how you would be the first to do anything.
I don't know either. That's huge, particularly in the way that we live now. People have gone everywhere and seen everything and left their mark on everything. It's really impressive.
Exactly, and that's what that was the big appeal to me. Like, it's not, again, it's not even like when I say, and also when I say new road, you get a new road that connects something in town. That's not the same thing, but to have a road that is so extreme that tested everything, like not just personally, but mechanically with the vehicle.
Yep.
Breaking through weather systems. I honestly, I don't. It's a little bit of a letdown now because I don't know what to do next.
Yeah, you always need to have something that, like a plan in the background, don't you? For when you finish.
Yeah.
Well,
I have no idea what I would do next.
You got to get your thinking cap on. Go to Australia. There's plenty of very remote roads out there.
Well, it's funny. I've got a friend who actually is in Australia. We've never met. We just met through Facebook years ago over. She enjoyed some of my pictures, so we became friends.
Yeah.
So I sent her a postcard. I had a bunch of people asking for postcards, so I sent one off to Australia. But yeah, I would love to go out there and check it out there.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. There's some I grew up traveling around in an RV with my parents in Australia, and the middle of the country is completely empty. It's just desert and incredible outback, and it's definitely worth a trip if you get a chance.
Well, that is on my bucket list for sure. But I know it's tough because I've had a few friends that actually moved out there, and the immigration is just absolutely crazy. If you're not under, I think it's 20 or something, if you're older.
Yeah.
It was very difficult for them to get over there.
It is tough, actually. That's true. Maybe one day. So the last thing that I had to ask you is about advice that you would have for anybody else who's considering, someone who might be like, I'd really love to live that lifestyle, but I don't really know much about it or what to do. What kind of advice would you have?
Actually, that's a great question. We just talked about it. I was with my friends who were outfitting the bus. I was with them last night. And I think that the number one thing is that, number one, you have to change your mindset.
Yep.
But number two, you have to do it realistically. You can't just go from a 4 or 5 or 6,000 square foot home and move into a bus or an RV because it's almost bound to fail.
Yeah, right. It's like shock.
So what they're doing with their and again, we're so attracted and attached to our stuff that if you all of a sudden go without it, it's you're going to hate it, and then it's going to be a miserable experience.
Yeah.
What they're doing is they had a 3-bedroom house. Mm-hmm. They're stepping down to a 2-bedroom, and they're going to progressively go down over the next year.
Wow.
As they do that, they're going to shed a bunch of their belongings, and then they'll be ready to move into the bus. I think that's the best way to do it.
I've actually never heard of people doing it that way, but it makes so much sense to kind of taper down like that so that you're only missing a certain amount of stuff at a time.
Yeah, because you have to deprogram yourself. Actually, I don't know if you had a chance to listen to that radio interview, but that reporter, she was great. I was a little worried that she was going to be out there for ridicule, but she was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
But the thing I told her that she actually asked if she could use it later on was that I said that everybody talks about having a smaller footprint, but nobody wants to squeeze into a smaller shoe.
Yeah.
And that's the problem, is that if you haven't got to that mindset yet, you have that romanticized vision of going out and traveling, but it takes some work too. You have to get rid of a bunch of stuff. Like what I do is because I do a lot of the